Hey everybody, I'm Matthew.
I'm Caleb.
And this is the He Said Yes YouTube channel.
Hey.
We're really excited that you're here with us today for this topic. It's one that we did a lot of research on when we started to think about moving internationally, and that is...
What do I do with all of my stuff?
What we're going to do in this video today is give you some of the breakdown of what we did and our top tips for anybody who's moving internationally. We'll give you some insight into what we're taking and how we're taking it. And then obviously we'll do a follow-up to this to see how all that turns out.
But before we tell you what we did, I think we'll cover some of the things we didn't do. Because what we did is not the only way to do it, but I think it's the way that we would recommend. And then the other thing I just want to say is, like, I know that there's a lot of sometimes emotional attachment to things, and that can feel like one of the biggest struggles. One of the things that we'll talk about that we are taking with us is these bikes. And for me, when we first started talking about getting out of the country, that was one of my biggest mental hurdles, was these bikes. We do cross-state riding.
We're both wearing our riding shirts.
Yeah. And we did tens of thousands, probably 100,000 miles on these old aluminum bikes that were entry-level bikes. And we finally last year invested in these, and now we're moving and we're not doing the ride. So all that is to say, I know that there are a number of things in your life that maybe you can't think about parting with. So option number one of what do I do with my stuff?
You can
rent a crate.
Yeah, bring it all.
Send it all. That was never on the table for us. Crates, if you really want to take all of your stuff, watch some videos from people who have rented a crate. To my understanding, the least amount you're going to spend with a crate is about $10,000. Which is $10,000 more than we want to spend. You could take all the furniture, all of that. But to us, that just didn't feel right. I know there are also ways that you can share a crate with somebody else. So
by crate, like a shipping container.
Yeah, a large shipping container. Sorry. Like a big one that goes on a ship that comes to you. I know there are ways to share those to save some money. I actually think when you share them, that's like the $10,000 price point. And for us, that just wasn't
something we wanted to do. And nothing that we really have in terms of furniture was something that we were really connected to. And I'll say this, the reality is when we did the research and we watched video after video and we looked at the Reddit threads and we did all this, the consensus 90% of the time was don't bring your things. You won't miss them. You don't need them. Let it go.
Everybody that we have talked to, that we've watched a video from, that we've read on the subreddits or whatever, Facebook groups, who brought a lot of stuff, like a shipping container level of stuff, across the board, every single one of them have said we brought way more than we needed. Total other end of the spectrum is I'm only bringing my luggage. I'm going to, I think it's about $200 per extra bag. I'm going to check 10 bags and that's what I'm bringing. We thought about that for a while. For us, one of the concerns with that is like, okay, we're going to juggle 10 suitcases and our manic, anxiety-ridden cats.
If you move over, he's right there.
So that just didn't feel like a fit. So what are we doing?
So we're doing something a little bit in the middle of the road. So this is going to be a pallet, the size of which is about 65 inches tall, 70 including the pallet itself, 40 by 48 inches. So everything that we can fit into that space is going to be coming with us to Amsterdam.
And then I think we'll probably end up checking between 2 to 4 luggages to take with of stuff that we want immediately. The pallet takes about a week or two to ship. The other thing to know about containers is so the pallet goes on a plane. It gets shipped over. It has to go through customs, and there's some steps that it has to go through, but it takes about a week. If you use a container to ship things, those take, as I understand it, months. They go by boat across the ocean to get to you, and it takes a long time. And so in the luggage we're taking the stuff that we want right away. We're taking 1 litter box. We're taking an air mattress.
And then just basic like toiletries and other things that we would need for a week.
So you can see this is our apartment. It's pretty large for New York. Obviously way more than would fit on 40 by 48 by 65 pallets. So what are we doing with all our stuff?
So we're getting rid of most of these things through a variety of ways. And so first I want to start this off with some tips for those of you who are going to do what we're doing, which is kind of middle of the road. You're going to need to get rid of a lot of things. The one tip that I saw across the board was start early.
Start earlier than you think you should.
Start today. If you're even considering moving, it's going to be a good idea for you to go ahead and start getting rid of things that you no longer need. And this can be done a variety of ways. So the first one is start gifting to friends that could benefit from these items.
Anybody who came over and said, "Oh, I like that," we said, "Do you want it?"
So many people left with really cool things, everything from disco balls to tape dispensers. Anything that people said, "Oh, I like that," they left with it. But gift things away and give it to people who could use it, first and foremost. We're also in our local free group.
So if you Google where you live and buy nothing, you should be able to find your local group. There's loads of them on Facebook.
And so this is a place where you can post things that you no longer want, and people in the neighborhood will come and grab it because they could get some use out of it. Our goal was to throw as few things into the waste bin as possible.
And we're doing
very good. Really good.
I mean, for me, one of the things that has come out of this is like a real detachment to our physical things, and a real idea that like we don't need to buy the nicest, newest thing. Like it doesn't matter. So when we get there as well, I want to do as much of what we're doing now the opposite way. So things that we can source from a free group if they have those in Amsterdam, buying things on Facebook Marketplace, secondhand.
So gifting things and giving things away are a big way to reduce the amount of things you have. Of course, you also can sell things. And so I have been, for the last few months, listing items on a few different places. So I'm going to go ahead and rank ones that didn't work at all to the ones that worked the best. So there's an app called OfferUp. I tried OfferUp. I have not sold a single thing on OfferUp. It has a lot of people on it. I've listed things. I've only had one person even chat with me. Next after that was in fact an app called Carrot, spelled with a K-A-R-O-T. This app, especially in New York City, is very popular.
We'll put a link down here to the Carrot app.
It's been by far one of the best ways for us to pass things along. I list a lot of things for like $5, $10 just to make a little bit of money for the move, but also listed quite a bit of things for free, and they make it fun. So they do little like challenges and things where you can win gift cards.
We've also sold higher priced items.
I had an old drum that I sold for like $50. 50, yeah. I had a metal singing bowl that I sold for like $30.
The bookshelf we sold yesterday.
Yeah, I sold a bookshelf for like $40. So all kinds of different items for different prices, and then just letting people negotiate because everything has to go. So after the Carrot app, the next one honestly was Facebook Marketplace.
That's your number one?
Facebook Marketplace is my number one.
All right.
When I list things on Facebook Marketplace, for the most part, it gets some sort of conversation. There is a downside, though, to Facebook Marketplace. You will get 90 people who ask you if something's available, but will never write you back when you say yes.
So I think, not to make any promises, but we will make a video and we will dramatically act out some of the conversations that have been had. So he manages all that. He has more patience than I do for all of those back and forth conversations like that. I've been selling a number of items on eBay, and you kind of have to pick and choose. So with the Facebook Marketplace and the Carrot, there are no fees. You can only sell to people who are local, who are going to come pick it up from you. Maybe you can ship, but that wouldn't make sense. Anyway, generally it's used for people who are local. They come pick it up from you. They pay you with like cash or Venmo, and that's it. On eBay, they do charge fees. You have to ship, so you're going to want to charge a shipping fee. So there are a number of factors that go into it, but some things are worth selling on eBay. I had some early edition books, and like locally, nobody necessarily cares about those, but on eBay I was able to sell those, I think, for maybe like $30 a piece or something.
The best example of this is we had a lot of San Francisco Giants gear and memorabilia because we lived in San Francisco.
We sold all of my bobbleheads. So one of the things that we own is both Lego's Friends sets. There's a Central Perk set, and then there's a set with both apartments. And we bought those. We put them, we spent a lot of quality time together putting them together, and we had them out on display in our apartment for a long time, and it's just like, we're not gonna ship these, like it's just not worth it. Like, we had fun, it was great, let's just sell them assembled. And we found out when we went to list them to sell them that they are now unavailable. Lego is no longer making these sets, so they're like rare vintage sets now. So we actually ended up selling them at like a very moderate profit. That was the biggest thing that we shipped. Most everything else that we sold on eBay was like smaller things, like the books that I mentioned, and we would mostly just sell smaller things or things like the Giants memorabilia that we just didn't think were gonna sell locally. And everything else is going on the pallet.
Everything else is going on the pallet. So in summary, just to recap, start today.
Yeah.
Give things to friends, gift things to friends. Communicate to friends and family that for future holidays, you're no longer interested in physical items. Tell them that you want experiences instead, or even gift cards to different food places, or even better, rather than having physical gifts that you're going to need to get rid of later. So
make the decision about what's important to you. I mean, maybe you have a lot of family heirloom furniture or something, and it really is worth it for you to get a shipping crate, a shipping container, and send it across. Like, that's okay. If you want to do that, just probably watch a different video because we didn't speak to that.
Some people even do storage units and keep a few things in storage because they feel like they're coming back. We know that that's not the path that we're looking for. We're looking for more of a long-term move. And so we don't want a storage unit that we're going to have to pay for, but I know some people recommend that as well.
And do you have questions about what we talked about, how we did it, what we did? Put them down in the comments and we'll respond. Or if it's a really big answer, we'll make another video.
And then please make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. It really helps us as we start to grow and share our journey with you moving from New York to Amsterdam.
Bye.